I'm not Scooby-Doo, but I'm still sniffing for clues, and I'm picking up a big whiff of something fishy. It's stinky out here. I've been smelling something foul. With all of these airplane freakouts that have been happening recently, I don't understand what is going on. It's getting wild. There have been an abnormally large amount of plane freakouts with passengers going berserk on airlines. It only has been like 2 weeks since this video hit the internet and took it by storm. This is the video of the woman who gets up out of her seat and says, "That motherfucker is not real," pointing to another passenger on the plane, and everyone turns their head to look, expecting to see like a T-1000 Terminator, but no one saw anything, and then she got off the plane. This photo here has actually become more famous than the fucking photo of the Wright brothers' first airplane. This is now one of the most well-known photos in aviation history, I'd argue. But anyway, this is not an isolated incident. When I talked about this when it first happened, there had actually already been another case of someone having a similar freakout where they got mad at a passenger they were sitting next to and then even tried to like charge the door of the plane to open it and get out. And now yet another video just came out from this year of another passenger having a very similar freakout, saying that a passenger on the plane was a robot and recharging their batteries and saying like the plane's gonna go down, and it was another like big scary moment on the airline. And this is 3 in a very short period of time when I'd never seen anything like this before. It's not like plane freakouts never happened. Of course, there's always been like irate passengers and having like meltdown moments on planes. But all of these are like sharing similar character traits with each other in terms of what they're freaking out about. And they're all over the globe, which is super odd. Not that I think there's any kind of grand conspiracy here, but it just makes me really wonder what's gone on to cause this level of panic on flights. Now, I do understand that maybe some of these are related to psychosis, which is a very serious thing, and that's definitely no laughing matter. That's very sad. But I do also wonder what else could come into play here, because it's not like all of a sudden psychosis is a new thing. So is it just we're recording more often and people are seeing it, being exposed to it more often, or if it really is increasing in frequency, and if so, why? I got really deep into this fucking rabbit hole for some reason, and it led me to something called railway madness. I don't know if anyone's familiar with this. When the railways were still pretty new, there were reported instances of completely normal people going on railroad cars and freaking out and like getting violent and aggressive and just going ballistic while the carts were in motion. And then when they stopped, they went back to normal. So for a brief period of time, there was a number of people that thought trains were causing damage to people's brains and flipping this switch that had them go wild. Kind of like the plot to the first Kingsman movie, where like a certain frequency turned them into like absolute killing machines that were just fucking attacking each other. But of course this isn't a real thing. Trains weren't causing damage to their brain and turning them into like, lunatics slapping each other around or anything like that. But as I understand it, there was just a very weird case of some people just going kind of nutty on trains and getting aggressive and freaking out. And now it seems like we're having something similar happen with airplanes in the modern age here. Now, of course, this is only 3 viral instances of it happening. That's not exactly scientifically significant. It's not indicative of some kind of pandemic sweeping the globe of people going crazy on planes or anything like that. But it is just a weird thing that I wanted to talk about because it's happened so many times in such a short period of time. As you discussed the clip of the woman freaking out on the airplane. Man, you are super late to that one. But you did just remind me of something else that happened on an airplane that Matt sent me earlier. Apparently, a guy had a big freak out on a plane claiming that he is stuck in a time loop. And that he experienced this 6 times already. That the plane was gonna crash. I don't know what's going on with planes though, but look, assuming this is a correct translation, they're a hollow earth inhabitant. I don't know if we're just filming things more often and crazy plane freakouts have always been common, or if this is just a rising phenomenon. But it is happening frequently now. What do you even say to calm them down? Don't listen to the time loop guy. We gave him way too much alcohol. Sorry. Please don't listen to Time Loop. Like, I don't even know what you say to calm everyone down. I'd be freaking out if this happened on a plane I was on. I'd be losing my goddamn mind. Like, all rational thought would go out the window. Be like, oh my god, there's a time looper in here. We're doomed. He's seen it all. Fuck. Oh god. I'd be running up and down the aisle. Oh my, yeah. I'd lose it. I'd fucking lose it. Well, he wasn't telling the truth. The plane landed. It didn't crash. But maybe he had just broken the cycle. Maybe that was the key. Cycles 1 through 5, he tried, like, very odd ways of fixing it, like flying the plane himself, all kinds of different things, erecting a force field, perhaps. And then on the 6th cycle, he tried just going full-blown Insano style, and that was the secret. Saved their life and not even respected. Heroes often aren't. What if he's actually telling the truth and we'll never know? What if the pilot came out and said that him freaking out made them slightly look to recalibrate? That's probably what happened, and then everybody clapped. Remember the guy who aggressively wanted to shake people's hands? That guy was cool. That wasn't a time looper. That guy was just a professional handshaker. He was a grip inspector, and he was going around making sure everyone's handshake was nice and firm. So it seems like there's only one write-up here from a reputable source. Footage from Chinese social media shows an airline passenger melting down earlier this year. He said he was caught in a time loop, and this was his 6th cycle. I'll just pull it down. The flight already crashed, and everyone died, but he's returned to this point and was warning everyone. He said they were destined for the same fate as the Malaysia Airlines flight MH370. According to the passenger, one of the crew members wasn't human. She was a robot who was changing her battery, and that everyone needed a reset because their jobs are slavery and they are being paid money for dark reasons. The flight was canceled. Too many passengers were freaked out by the incident, and the passenger was arrested and sent to a medical facility. Oh, so they weren't even in the air yet. I thought this happened in the air. Also, this is so interesting. Another one of these "this motherfucker isn't real" moment. She was a robot who was changing her batteries. So yeah, maybe he really did save them. Maybe that plane would have went down if he didn't go fucking ballistic here. What's your ideal time loop scenario? I don't think there is one. A time loop is worthless. Time travel is what means the most. That's most helpful. There's no way to prove him wrong. You are correct. Clear sign of psychosis. Find it sad people are making this guy into a spectacle. Yeah, I think that's very clearly psychosis. What's interesting, though, is that this has now happened 3 times this year. Well, 3 times in the last month. What was the third one? The guy coming back from the rave, and he tried, like, opening the door after shouting at his seat sidekick, the passenger next to him. Started shouting and freaking out at him, and then tried opening the door mid-flight. Millions of people in a time where everything gets shared seems about right. That's what I was wondering. If it's just a matter of we're all filming everything now, so the freakouts get eyes on them, and it's always happened since the history of aviation, or if there really is a big wave of mental illness coming through. COVID fucked up a lot of people. Yeah, maybe the isolation had some kind of huge effect on people's psyche. Perhaps.